Recruiters, first of all, they lied to you. Their job is to get you in the army. They don't care about your well-being, bro. Black women go missing all the time in the army. This is what they're not going to tell you when they play in them ads and commercials. Come serve your country. And they get you with, oh, you get a new car, you get a home, health care. And everybody's broke in the army. Everybody's poor. Everybody's living check to check. Nobody has money in the army. Unless you like a high-ranking person, everybody's living check to check. So when they try to get you, you're going to make all this money. Yeah. Everybody broke financially in the army. Multiple friends and associates, women they got, men they got, a lot of drug use, a lot of alcoholism, a lot of domestic violence. They don't tell you how many deaths and how many traumatic things you see just in training accidents alone. But there's so much they'll tell you about the racism in there. You can't think for yourself in the army. You have to do whatever they say. You're nothing but a number on their books. You do not get treated like a human being in the army, bro. They do not care about you, especially if you're black, especially if you're a woman. They do not care about you in the army. I joined the army in 2016 at 18 years old. I got out in 2021. So I served almost 5 years, right? I was active duty. And a lot of racism in there and chauvinism. Man, first 3 days, they gave us something to eat, but it wasn't enough, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they gave us something called MRE. You familiar with that?
MRE.
Okay, enough of that. All praises, honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation to the elect. And all the brothers pushing this work and sincerity and truth. This is brother of mine from GMS Toronto coming at you with another video. Yeah, this is the American Army. It's pretty much going under, man. Right? You jakes that are
they gave us those.
You jakes that are fighting in this army. You're pretty much a two-time loser. You're gonna help fight the Lord, right? You're gonna fight the Lord for nothing, for a kingdom that hates you, a kingdom that wants to see you fall, right? A kingdom that kills your women, right? This Jake just told you black women go missing all the time. You just saw black women get raped all the time, right? The R word, Salakia. Not even just black women in general that, that's in the army of America. That's why the other men of these other nations, they know your army is weak because you have women in them, right? You have women around, high testosterone men that goes on, different countries, putting people to the sword, right? Putting people to the slaughter. And these are the men that you want to be around as a woman. And in desperate times when they're, men are not getting laid, men are out there for hours in the field, days without seeing a woman, and you're right next to them. What do you think is going to happen when you're in the barracks taking a shower? They're already sizing you up, okay? You think you're not getting sized up from the first moment you step on there and try to sign up. These sergeants are always sizing you up, right? Men get sized up. So what makes you think women are not going to get sized up, right? And because men are natural hunters. Esau Edom don't look at you women, you so-called women of color, as human beings, man. You people are always on the front line. You're in the fucking the vanguard.
For the first 3 days, bro.
Where the war is always pressing. That's what makes you the best soldier, because guess what? Most of the time you survive because the Lord is with you, right? And you're still fighting for an army, for this army that pretty much brought you into captivity and have you here, and now you think you're part of their army. And if you ever watched that movie with Denzel Washington and Sergeant Waters, I forgot what the movie, I think A Soldier Story, right? It shows you how much they didn't want you in the army, man. They didn't want you in the army, and you were forcing yourself to be in there. Yes, you were the best. Fighters, right? When you get to Germany, when you get to Europe, what happened? You were pretty much considered a nigger in these armies, man, right? And you still want to put your life on the line for a country that hates you. And another thing, the Jake here mentioned that you're broke. A lot of you people are broke, right? You go to the army, you got sold a dream that you're gonna make money, you're gonna be rich by the time you're done. No, you gotta do your stints until you get to a certain position so you can make money. Okay, but this is not supposed to be. You're supposed to be, as soon as you enter, you're supposed to be rich, to be honest with you, because you're out here protecting and stealing for this country, for this kingdom to survive. So you're supposed to be the top paid men on the planet Earth, right? Or even in America, doctors are supposed to be under you because you go out there and you take and you bring back, you defend a country, right? You're on the borders, you're on the front lines, you're in the skirmishes, you're in the melees, right? And you're still being treated like a piece of shit. So Jakes need to knock it off. Let's get Ecclesiasticus 26 and 28. There be two things that grieve in my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffered poverty, a man of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepared such, and one for the sword. Right? So the main point here is a man of war that suffered poverty. Right? And that's what these people in the army, most of them, majority of them, are broke. They don't have any money to feed their family. That's why their wives are always committing adultery on them. Right? Their wives are always going away. When these guys are out here fighting for the so-called nation, right? Their wives are sleeping with other men, right? They don't have any money to maintain these women, you know? When it comes to food and all that stuff, going on trips, you know how this place go. Women, their eyes get a little bit fucking itchy, man. Right? When they see the neighbors doing certain things and you can't, right? So that leads to a lot of things. A broke man that's in the army, your wife is unattended, that's one, right? Secondly, there's no food in the house. Of course she's gonna be doing things, man. She's gonna be doing things for her to survive, because that's what women do. They're survivors, right? Whether it be wrong or right, there's no logic in their fucking brain for the majority of them, right? Those days are over. Whether the profession here is respected. Being a man of war is not respected, right? It was it's been like what, 25 years since a man of war has been respected. Afghanistan war, right? And now people understand what's going on, so they don't respect none of this shit, man. They know what you guys do when you go over there, right? And that's always been a part of war, right? Little children suffer, women suffer, and men suffer when a war is happening. So for that care to come back again, they're gonna have to do something very drastic for you people to be patriots again of this kingdom, right? But a man of war that suffered poverty, that's embarrassing, because he said a lot of men, they're on alcohol, they're on drugs, right? And that's the thing that they've seen, the thing that they've dealt with during time of war, right? That's what the scripture talks about. King David men. We're not gonna have none of these problems when the elect are chosen for the Lord's army, man, to come back down here and beat the pruning shears into the hooks. Because the Lord said, let me get that. Fishers and hunters. Can't remember what that scripture is. There's not gonna be no chaff in mine. I'm gonna get that after, just to back that up. Jeremiah 16 and 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers. That's what the prophets are doing right now, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters. So this is the elect, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of every holes of the rock. So your little bunkers, you elites, you're gonna get this is what's gonna happen to you. You're gonna get pulled and dragged out of these things in chains, right? Those are your big doors that you have, your brass and iron doors that you have in these bunkers are gonna be fucking snatched off. Your little your big locks that you have on there, they're gonna be snatched away, broken, and you're gonna be yanked out. These hunters are not gonna have no problems, which is the elect. They're not gonna have the angels. They're not gonna have no alcohol problems. Okay, they're not gonna have no drug problems once it's time to execute what the Lord had put in their minds, because the Spirit of the Lord is gonna be upon them, right? They're gonna bash. I'm not even gonna say it, but they're gonna bash the little ones, man, against the stones and not feel any way, right? Let's get Psalms 137. They're not gonna feel any way about it. Psalms 137 and 8, right? O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. You think these men are gonna feel any way dashing these little ones against the stones? No, because like I said, the Spirit of the Lord is gonna be upon them. Right, when the if you were reading the scriptures about the Spirit of the Lord coming upon any man, pretty much like, say, for example, Samson, right? When the Spirit of the Lord came on Samson smashed people's heads, man, right? And not feel anything about it. He put a lot of men to death and not feel anything about it. So when the elect have the Spirit of the Lord upon them, man, they're gonna do some gruesome stuff and not feel any way, right? Like how you weak Americans, you weak Babylonian army men are out here, can't even stomach the things that you do, right? Chaffed in the mind. The King David men. Hopefully this scripture pops up. Yep. Second Samuel 17. 2 Samuel 17 and 8, and it says, For said Hushai, that thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty men, right? And they be chaffed in their minds. So yeah, fucking schizophrenic, right? Alcoholics, who knows? They need things to help them numb the pain for the things that they've seen in war, man. As a bear robbed of her whelp in the field. So when a bear or any animal that's territorial, when the children got like robbed from them, someone, let's say another animal just ate a bear cub or kill a bear cub, they get fucking territorial and they get pissed, right? And anything in their way is gonna suffer the consequences, man. And thy father is a man of war and will not lodge with the people. So it says your men chaffed in their minds as a bear robbed of a whelp in their field. So that's the kind of thing these American soldiers are going through. Okay? When you watch men that are shell shocked, it's the same thing. Right? When you watch men that are robbed in their minds, chaffed in their minds, you're seeing they're witnessing what do you call it, a borderline personality disorder. You're witnessing mental health disorder. You're witnessing demons, right? You're witnessing these men that like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, they were perfectly fine, going behind enemy lines, taking out soldiers. Now you're looking at them and they're pretty much talking to themselves, right? They might because a lot of things happen that a lot of soldiers don't agree with, because they have that code, right? The human code, like the Israelite code, where you're not supposed to take women that are like in this time, because the scripture tells you if you go off and see women and you wanted to marry her, you can take her. But in this time, men's minds are different. So in their mind, they have a code, like you can't rape women or whatever the case may be in the time of war. But then when you're out there for like 2 years and you might come across a village, you take that village down, and that can happen, and other men might see that. They might even see a child get put to death, right? And that can make them lose their shit, right? That's why a lot of men leave the army. They see a lot of things, they report it back, and they just keep it under wraps, right? And that make a lot of men go crazy. Make a lot of men get chaffed in their minds, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So, and plus, you don't even get the money that you sign up for to say you're gonna take care of you all the way till your death, and then you don't get that money. If you watch that movie with Chris Tucker and Lawrence Tate, Dead Presidents, it's the same thing, right? He threw the fucking chair this judge, man. The judge sentenced him to like 20 something years because of a bank robbery he tried to do. And Chris Tucker was on drugs, and him and Lawrence Tate was broke. They had came back from, I think, the Vietnam War, right? And he was trying to start over with his life. A pimp was fucking his wife, right? A baby that he had was probably not even his. So he tried to make something happen. The work is not happening for him, right? And he tried to rob a bank with Chris Tucker, but Chris Tucker's a damn crackhead. He got caught. The other one started buying a lot of drugs, exposing himself. So all three got taken down. And he said, like, hey man, I put my life on the line for this country, and I get nothing, right? And the judge gave him a hard sentence, man. And he threw the chair at the judge. You know what I'm saying? So this nation don't care about you. That's the point of this story. The point of this lesson. This nation don't care about you. So you jakes, especially you women who think, you know, I'm gonna go in the army. A lot of you do it just to get a foot up on your own men anyways. But it's backfiring. A lot of you come up missing. A lot of you come back home and you're broke. Shalom.